Hello everybody, Blue Dooley in the office today, and we're starting out looking at a map. This particular map is the current wildfires situation out here in the west, and part of the reason why I haven't been outside making videos is I spend 5 days a week outside, and living here in southern Idaho, it's been really hazy for a couple of weeks now. The way the weather's been, a lot of the smoke from these California fires here have actually gone up and around the mountains. And this whole section of the state, just all of southern Idaho, for the last probably 2 weeks or more, it's been so hazy that visibility's been under 5 miles. There were a couple of days this last week where, here in Twin, if you were on the north side of the Snake River by more than a mile, you couldn't even see Twin Falls. It's just been so bad. And since I used to have asthma, I've spent most of my weekends inside. That's kind of why there hasn't been too many videos. And also I don't like the heat. So when the weather has been a little nice on the weekends, it's just been so hot I haven't gone out in the garage to work on anything. So this is kind of a little channel update, kind of where we're sitting right now. Like I said, there are a lot of wildfires burning out west, so until the haze kind of goes away a little bit, I'm probably going to be mostly inside. But we do have some good news, because if we switch over here to Thingiverse, I have a Thingiverse page. You just have to find me at Blue Dooley 4x4 and just look for me being stupid in front of a Mac and some of my trucks here. But I have finished the fifth wheel ramps for the semi-truck. And I also have the square fuel tank that's on the CXT up. I only have those two things right now. But I did finalize the fifth wheel ramps. Click on it here, Thingiverse. It's a little slow. There's a lot of stuff on this thing, on this page. So if you're looking for 3D files to print, definitely suggest you check here first. It's free. So this is the last of my prototypes actually on the truck. I had to saw this little notch out here with a handsaw, but my design actually has that cut in it now. So I got 3 different versions, and if we go here, you can see that this is cleared for the fifth wheel already. And here's actually kind of a photo I just found looking for kind of where the design's based off of. Granted, on the real trucks they're a little more aggressive right here, and I didn't want to cut too much more in the frame than I already did. So mine, you just need to trim 23 millimeters off the back of the frame, and then it'll sit nice and flush up here to the fifth wheel plate mount. And then this little lip here sticks out a little bit farther, like maybe a millimeter or two, than the stock frame rails. And the reason I decided to go ahead and trim the frame rail of the truck is to get this portion to be back where the same length is. So if you're running a regular Tamiya trailer or other trailers other people have built, this shouldn't interfere with the landing gear if those trailers have landing gear, or if it has a shorter neck. So that's kind of why I elected to trim the frame rail a little bit. We'll go over here to CAD and get a little better picture of them. If we zoom in here, the light mounts on the one, it will hold a 5mm LED, and then I only managed to get the outside mud flap hole to be where it needs to be. I tried several times to get the other holes in here, and no matter what I did, I could never get them to line up right correctly. So I just have the single clear hole So you can bolt the mud flap to it with this one, and then just drill the other 2 holes out. And then on all 3, I decided not to put any holes here for mounting, because I wasn't sure if all of the 1/14 scale truck chassis have the same holes as the Tamiya trucks, whatever, however you want to say it. So I built mine on the Grand Hauler, which the difference between it and the King Hauler is in the middle. It's 3 inches longer, but if you're running a Lasso or RC 4-wheel drive frame rails, I don't know if they have the exact. Oops, I keep shaking my monitor in the desk cam. Sorry about that. I don't know if they have the same holes as the Tamiya frames, and we'll swing it around here. This is only 1mm thick, so it's not hard to drill through. I figured you could just drill your own mounting holes for the shocks, or if you have fenders you want to put on with these, that's why they're only 1mm thick, is it won't make any of those fenders kind of push out too much or make them too noticeable that they're not even on the frame. The Thingiverse page has all 3 of these. So one of them has the mud flap mounts and the light buckets. As I said, they hold 5mm LEDs. They are notched slightly, so they fit in there nice and snug. The other one, I cut the lights off, and it has just the mud flaps. And then there is one here with no mud flaps or light buckets at all. I wasn't sure what anybody'd want. And like I said, the one I have on my truck, it fits real well. It doesn't look like it's going to interfere with any of the stock trailers you can get, or trailers you can buy. This portion here is thick enough that if you wanted to mount your own lights to it, or if you wanted to trim the bumper mounts so they fit between here, you can do that too. So I tried to make them as versatile and as simple as I could. When you load them up in your splicing program, they'll be sitting like this. I actually recommend flipping them upside down, it'll shave off quite a bit of print time. I think I saved 2 hours of printing by printing them upside down. And then you also, with the light buckets, or the way they're notched here, you don't have all the supports, because all of this will have supports in it. This part here and here, the mud flaps will have supports. So if you print them on upside down, you'll only really just have to mess with cleaning the supports off of here and this part of the mud flap, and then right in here, which is a little easier than trying to get into this notch to clean the supports up out of there so it fits nice and snug on the frame. And then this is almost right up next to the 5th wheel plate for the Tamiya truck, and then this little tab here, it's sitting up high enough that this little chunk right here sits over the screw that holds that little 5th wheel plate down to the frame. So again, fits really snug. A little bit of cleanup here on this chamfer when you print it, if you print it upside down, and then you'll just have to sand pretty much here and then this. Smooth it out a little bit after you print it, and yeah. So all 3 of these are on my Thingiverse page. When you download it, you'll get all 3. The way I have it labeled is HH Cross, and then this one is no options. This one's just no lights, and then this one is the lights and mud flaps, I believe. You can go back to the page and look. Yeah. So when you download all files, you'll get all three. So you can print whichever one you want, or print all three of them. I kind of go over where I got it, the idea from, and noted that you do need to cut 23 millimeters off the frame. Also mentioned that I suggest printing them upside down. Again, in my testing with my printer, it saved 2 hours of print time and quite a bit of filament. So, I mean, I don't want people wasting stuff. I'll go back to CAD here. The gooseneck is giving me a little bit of trouble. If you zoom in here, the rendering gets a little weird. It's got holes in it. So I'm not sure if that's just the limitations of the program or the way I've been designing them just confuses the machine. So what I need to do is, as it sits right now on the printer I have, which is 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters, you really have to struggle to get this whole piece to fit as in one print. So what I need to do is actually cut it right about here. So if you have a printer like mine, it'll fit and you don't have to try to spend a half hour orienting the parts in your slicer to get it to print correctly. But that's my basic shape. I'm gonna start over and clean up a lot of things. But that's kind of where that's sitting at, and then I will actually have to design the part, the front end of the trailer that everything here fits into. Also, here is the plow suspension mount. I measured the frame rails and then basically just made some frame rails so I can just load them in anytime I need. Here in the middle, I'm going to use some double-sided automotive tape, and that's going to essentially be my rubber bushing for this particular type of suspension. The 3D printed beam flexes quite a bit, so I don't know if I recommend printing the beam. I'd print all the mounts and then make this beam out of a piece of metal. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'd also thought about maybe not using this mount at all, or using it as a spacer and then just running the screws through the beam up through the axle, and then I don't need upper axle mounts, because what I'm thinking I'm going to do on the plow is I'm actually going to put the battery kind of where it would interfere with the upper suspension mounts on the truck. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Design's been a little slow. Again, FreeCAD can do a lot, but I'm still not really comfortable with it. Like, I can't do things real fast. I don't know all the keyboard shortcuts. And if you go into where is it here, Sketcher, to draw out the parts, I still haven't quite figured out how to link 2 different sketches together and then have it loft between the sketches to make a solid part. So I'm thinking maybe I might try to get Fusion 360, as you can get a free version of that. And Josh over at Harley Designs does a lot of tutorials, and he sits down on Sundays and designs things in Fusion 360. If you watch some of his videos, he's actually working on a completely 3D printed camp trailer, which is kind of cool, I think. We'll go to YouTube. Of course, RC Sparks and music. That's all I really use YouTube for, is music and watching a few guys play games. But let's find Oops, I guess we can do this a little easier. We'll find Harley here. Oh, Harley Designs. It's Scale News, Myth Mayhem, STL Sunday. Pause it. With his stash. This is on May 17th, but he draws stuff in CAD, and that's fine. You know, he's got jerry can, air compressor, go-kart, skee ball, a working skee ball table. That one was kind of cool. So definitely worth, if you don't follow him, he does some pretty cool stuff. So that's kind of where I'm sitting on the channel. Haven't been active much on Facebook, but I've been trying to keep up my Instagram a little bit better. Oops. It's good of me. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with work. This was a particularly hard one to get in. I just thought that, I mean, that kind of, this video here even shows you how hazy it is. It's so hazy from all the wildfire smoke. There is no sunrise this morning. Yep. I go to work at nuts to me. 7. Well, I clock in at 7, so this is about 6:40 in the morning. It's so hazy. Again, that's looking right at the sun. And it is just overcast and dark. So that's kind of where I've been at. Check me out on Instagram if you don't. Like I said, my two whole things on Thingiverse right now. Hoping to get more uploaded. Eventually the gooseneck will be uploaded, and I'd like to try to design a body. I'm thinking I want to do another 10th scale crawler on an actual crawler platform instead of a monster truck platform. And I kind of want to design up the International Paystar from SnowRunner. It's just a cool looking truck. So hope that kind of answers a few questions of where I've been, what I'm working on. Work's been kind of hit and miss. Some weeks it's been busy, some weeks been slow. And I imagine here in a little while it's going to slow down quite a bit, because with all the wildfires and the 2 hurricanes, it's going to make getting building materials up here a little harder. It's going to be a little more, well, I know the bunk of lumber already went up $200 a bunk of lumber. So hopefully we can still stay busy, especially now that the COVID thing's hopefully settling down, or we're doing that, settles down, and maybe people will get their building permits so they can start building new houses. That'd be nice. Maybe next weekend. Well, no, next weekend's Labor Day, so probably won't have a video next weekend because Mom's coming to town. And then, not sure, a guy up the street wants my help welding in part of a new floor pan in a Mustang project he's working on. I don't really know him well enough to ask, hey, can I shoot video in your garage or your project car? So I might just snap a few photos for Instagram of that. Need to start getting some parts ordered for the snowplow build, which thankfully, that's the other reason there haven't been too many videos. The wife and I have been kind of struggling and arguing and emailing and calling and sending documents to get the house refinanced. That finally went through. So with a little bit of equity and some refinancing the house, we got some debt paid off. So that'll be super nice. Looking at almost saving $700 a month, which is a lot, especially if work slows down. So, as always, subscribe and like. Like I said, subscribe especially because some projects will be getting completed and I will be able to upload a little more consistently and get some work done here in the future. Hope everyone is having a good weekend, and we'll catch you next time.